What's good, everyone? Welcome to the Bucks Film Room. I'm Brian Sampson, writer about the Milwaukee Bucks for Forbes Sports and Brew Hoop. You can find me on Twitter at Bucks Film Room. Today, we're going to take a look at Khris Middleton's shot profile, what's changed about it this season, and how it will impact the Bucks' championship aspirations. Shout out to Paul Henning on Twitter for this idea. In 2017-18, the year before Mike Budenholzer took over as Milwaukee's head coach, the team was bucking the trend, sweeping the rest of the NBA. They ranked 24th, 30th, 22nd, and 25th in three-point frequency respectively the previous 4 seasons under Jason Kidd. Thanks, Jason. Fortunately, Budenholzer moved the Bucks into the analytics era, focusing their offense on threes and shots around the rim. This worked well for most players, except Khris Middleton, the Bucks' second best player, struggled mightily to adapt his game, even being benched at one point early in the 2018-19 season. Middleton's frustrations were understandable, as his game was, perhaps, impacted more than anybody else's on the team. You see, he made his come up living in the mid-range, taking at least half his shots in that area in the previous 4 seasons before Budenholzer arrived. After a season of adaptation, where he only took 39% of his shots in the mid-range, Middleton is back to his old ways this season and is better than ever. Of the 211 players to appear in at least 1,000 meaningful minutes, Middleton ranks 4th in mid-range percentage by knocking down an insane 52% of those attempts. On the left here is a shot chart from 2018-19, and on the right is a shot chart this season, courtesy of StatMuse.com. This uptake has made his game more unpredictable and diverse. Opponents no longer know if he's going to pull up from downtown or work his way to the elbows, one of his most efficient areas on the court. Overall, there's a misconception that the analytic movement only encourages threes and shots at the rim with no room for anything between. The fact is, it only discourages mid-range shots when you're not great at them, which is the majority of the league. When you're an elite player in this area, like Middleton is, the shots are encouraged just as much as anywhere else. At 6'8", his size is a huge advantage in this area. He combines this with slick footwork to gain an edge against smaller players. Check this post up against Avery Bradley, a very good defender in his own right. He receives a pass just inside the three-point line and goes to work. After squaring Bradley up, Middleton anticipates help coming from Danny Green. Green is guarding Bledsoe and knows he can abandon his post to help the overmatched Bradley. Middleton takes a dribble, puts his shoulder into his defender to get closer to the rim before quickly spinning baseline and draining the fadeaway J. With his midi game flowing, he's also added a pull-up 3 to his arsenal. With defenses worried about him getting to the elbows, he's been able to exploit this extra space these last 2 seasons and knock down pull-up trays off the bounce. He can pull out all the stops, whether it be a pull-up, step back, spin move, floater, you name it. This diverse skill set gives him a huge advantage against defenders. Last year, the Toronto Raptors were able to key in on the Bucks, knowing they heavily preferred to take their shots from behind the arc or at the rim. They mostly did this by sending lots of help and attention to Giannis, as it seemed everyone but the man defending Middleton was responsible for getting a foot in the lane and deterring shots around the basket. By returning diversity to his game, Middleton gives the Bucks a third option to score from the inside the arc but outside the paint. This makes them less predictable and gives defenses another option to worry about. Some of the Bucks' biggest threats to an NBA championship give up oodles of mid-range attempts. This includes the Philadelphia 76ers, Boston Celtics, and Los Angeles Clippers, all of whom rank in the bottom third of the league in percentage of mid-range shots allowed by their opponents. Budenholzer has also drawn up different sets to get Middleton his mid-range looks, something he didn't really do too often last season. Here's one they like to run once or twice a game. They get into this set different ways, but for the most part it consists of a ball handler passing to his teammate on the wing, and then setting a down screen for Middleton on the weak side block. While the other two players clear out to the strong side corner, Mids catches a pass in the middle of the court with room to go to work. This is where he uses his size, sweet footwork, and sweeter shot to take his man to work. Here's another example of this same set against the Spurs. We already know the Bucks can dominate around the rim and are more than willing to bomb away from the outside. Allowing Middleton the space to work in between means defenses now have to defend that area of the court as well. Last season, the Bucks were unable or unwilling to exploit the area of the court between the paint and the three-point line. Middleton's compromise with Budenholzer makes it a different story this time around, and Milwaukee is hoping for a different ending as well. For a written breakdown, you can check out my article on Forbes Sports. The link is in the bio below. Catch you next time.